Dear viewers and listeners, welcome to another episode of the second podcast series of the QuantiFarm project. In this podcast episode, we welcome Evangelia Giatsiou from our partner CNH, formerly known as Augmenta, and together we will discuss everything about the test case visits and the demo events that CNH is managing. Evangelia, welcome and thank you very much for joining us today.
So nice to be here, Nathalie.
Thank you. So, to start from the beginning, can you briefly explain your role within the QuantiFarm project and also give us some context of what a test case is in the QuantiFarm project and what it aims to achieve?
Sure. So in CNH, as you know it, formerly Augmenta, as part of the agronomy team, we manage and coordinate the whole process of testing. So our case is about testing the Augmenta field analyzer, which is a 4K multispectral camera based system mounted on top of a tractor or a sprayer, depending on the farmer's equipment, which does variable rate applications. So a test case in our case is actually doing this kind of testing, a variable rate application testing, when compared to a flat rate one, which is the commonly used practice in conventional agriculture.
And can you describe the test case that you are managing? What are its main goals and objectives?
Yeah. So our main goal in this whole testing is to test the two approaches and test the benefits that the variable rate application can have. Mainly we're testing in cotton crops in Greece, in Thessaly region and in Emathia region, it's in northern Greece. To check the benefits for farmers when utilizing the equipment, our technology.
And how have local farmers been involved in the test case activities? Do you have any initial feedback from them that you could share with us?
So far, we have been testing the equipment and being part of the program, in the QuantiFarm program, for 3 years now. We started in 2023. The collaboration that we have with the local farmers is continuous. They keep choosing, let's say, our equipment because they test it in their own land with their own crops, taking the risk, if any, to test the technology in their crops. So far the feedback is quite good. We are really happy with that. And every year they keep testing. They're positive with testing, which shows to us that they are showing their trust to us.
Positive feedback is always very good. And have you encountered any challenges during the implementation process of the test cases? And if so, have you responded to these challenges?
Yes, in fact, we had in 2023, we had a major flooding incident in central Thessaly, where we had our pilot tests with 2 local farmers as partners. The incident was really crucial. A lot of crops were damaged. There was serious damage in equipment, in the soil. There was soil activity that got drained and damaged a lot. Many farmers decided to switch from the cotton crop to other crops or leave their farmlands for, let's say, half a cultivation period and wait for the next one. So we had to have a backup plan, and we transferred our pilot cases to Emathia in northern Greece. with a very cooperative farmer, really willing to do the testing and everything. But this was something for us to have in mind that it is a real life aspect. You cannot control it, and you have to be there for the farmer when it needs you.
And always adapt based on the circumstances, like the one you mentioned, the huge flood that took place in Greece. So you had to change location and replan the whole thing, which is very important. And how do you plan and organize all these activities, the demo events? Do you follow any specific approach in order to involve the local farmers and make these events meaningful, actually?
So we have already had a demonstration event, a demo event, let's say, the previous winter, where we had mainly local farmers. Partners of ours had made the invitation more wide and more farmers were able to attend the event. Approximately 20 of them were there, very engaged, very willing to learn and see the whole technology, the benefits of that. We showcased, it wasn't actually the period of testing, but we showcased the equipment and the results of the previous cultivation period. We talked about the benefits that the farmers can have from the equipment, such as the savings of the input through the variable rate application, the increase in yield, as well as the environmental aspect through minimization of leaching, of product leaching.
Word of mouth, as you mentioned, is an aspect that helped you make this event meaningful for local farmers, because one farmer tells another and then they are gathered and they are all willing to see and probably adopt.
Exactly.
If they get the right information and they understand correctly. But in any case, this is a nice way of spreading the news. And have you used or are you planning to use any methods to collect feedback from the farmers and the participants during the demo events?
So as far as the feedback is concerned, we have distributed questionnaires, mainly social questionnaires, with maybe either harsh answers for us, but farmers always speak their truth, and that's what we want from them. They were honest about whether the equipment helped them in their time or in their profits or in every other aspect. Not just the benefit one for the economic, but the social one, because we seem to leave this factor behind sometimes, but it's also important for them. So the main focus was these questionnaires and the fact that they keep showing an interest in using the technology.
And from interaction, do they interact with each other? And from conversations you hear some things and you probably get some feedback from there as well?
Yeah, of course, that as well, because farmers tend to check whether the technology has already been used from someone they know, someone they trust, because every new technology is coming from every side and they feel overwhelmed with that, and they need to be sure and felt sure about something before testing. So yeah, word of mouth, as you said before, it's an aspect that they count on a lot.
Of course, and also there are many technologies and some of them are huge investments, so they need to know from personal experience if this actually makes an impact on their yield or not. So of course, interactions and conversation amongst them always helps the decision-making process.
Yes, exactly.
Great. And now I would like to ask you, how are you evaluating whether the digital tools tested are bringing real value to the farmers and improving their practices? I mean, you mentioned some things, but if you could expand a little bit more.
Sure. the value that the farmer can see can be only tested through after the harvest. I mean, you can check how the savings, the input savings, can be measured because all of this technology is happening in real time. As soon as you complete a task, for example, the in-season fertilization or the plant growth regulators application, you can instantly check the savings, let's say, that you had from the product that you did not use, plus the increase that this technology in specific can have in the yield. That can be monitored after the harvest. The farmer can also compare with the conventional practice that he or she used to have before, and see for himself the actual benefit of the technology.
And so far, have you identified any key lessons or good practices that you would share with other test case leaders or farmers that could benefit their activities as well?
For one thing, you have to always be there for the farmer, because we're talking about technologies, and of course technologies can face a lot of problems, a lot of issues sometimes, technical, electrical or whatever. You have to be really supportive because the farmer is doing the actual work at the time in the field. You cannot spare his time or her time during this labor. You have to be there and be very responsive very quickly. And with this response, you can see his trust later on if he continues to test the technology and use it again.
So I understand that trust and support are key.
Yeah.
And is one of the good practices that you have identified so far from your activities and expertise.
Mm-hmm.
And now I would like us to conclude with one final question. What are your next activities and how are you going to measure their success?
So for our next activity, we have to do we're planning to organize a demo event as well, because the previous one we had, it was not during the cultivation period for cotton. We're planning to do one in July, where farmers or farm advisors or whoever is going to attend, everyone is welcome, can actually see the operation real time, can see the crop, can check the difference between the conventional practice and the variable rate application one, and the instant savings of the product that we're going to apply at this time. Of course, for the possible yield increase, we'll have to wait for after harvest, plus the quality characteristic aspects where we can check in through a lab analysis. But for sure, he can check in real time the technology at this time. We're also planning to visit another test case, to connect with other partners, to share the knowledge, discuss about the toolkit, and see how the whole project can benefit the whole community of farmers.
Great. Good luck with all of these activities. They sound very promising. And thank you very much for participating in our podcast and for being here with us today and sharing all this very useful information.
My pleasure.
Thank you. And as for you, dear viewers and listeners, thank you very much for watching this episode. And don't forget to stay tuned for all the next episodes.